When I tell people that I specialize in religious trauma, many of them ask, well, what is that? And once I explain it, they pause and then they say, well, oh my God, I think I've experienced that too. So I want to explain what religious trauma actually is, what it looks like, what causes it, and how it might be showing up in your life without you even realizing it. Because you deserve to name your experience and you deserve to heal. Religious trauma is an emotional, psychological, or physical response to an extremely distressing or disturbing event related to religion or spirituality. It happens when what you've been through overwhelms your ability to cope or make sense of what you've experienced. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be one dramatic, obvious event. It can come from a lifetime of messages that taught you to feel ashamed or fear or suppress yourself just for being human. And sometimes it's all you've ever known. Religious trauma can stem from a single harmful event, or it can develop slowly over time through prolonged exposure to spiritual abuse or fear-based teaching or manipulation or an authoritarian control. So let's break that down. Spiritual abuse happens when someone uses religion or spirituality or their position of power to mistreat or violate someone. And that abuse can be psychological, emotional, physical, or even sexual. And it's not always loud and aggressive. Sometimes it's a parent who constantly quotes scripture to justify harm or harsh discipline, or a pastor who insists they're the only one that hears from God, or a partner who uses gender roles to justify abuse. Fear-based teaching uses threats like hell, divine punishment, or missing your blessing to scare people into obedience. You may have been taught that questioning a belief means you're opening the door to the devil, or that having doubts means you don't have enough faith. And that fear gets into your body. You might carry constant anxiety, shame, or deep fear of punishment, even long after leaving the environment that taught you those things. Manipulation is when people twist beliefs or scriptures to influence your behavior or decisions. For example, someone might say, God told me you're supposed to give me this money. Or if you were really spiritual, you wouldn't question me, you would just obey. And that's not faith, that's control. Authoritarian control is rooted in do what I say because I'm the authority. It shows up when someone, a lot of times a leader or a parent, uses their spiritual rank or position to override your thoughts, your voice, or your autonomy. And I've seen this in churches where pastors have the final say on everything, from who you can date to whether you're allowed to lead the church. And that's not leadership, that's spiritual domination. Why am I talking about this? Because it's real, because it happens a lot, and because too many people are silently suffering, thinking that what they experience was just discipline or God's will. And it's not, it's abuse, it's trauma. And it can come from many sources. Parents who use scripture to justify punishment or shame, religious leaders who demand obedience and offer fear in return, parents who claim God gave them control over you. I remember my own mother using scripture, honor thy mother and father, to justify abusive behavior. I was taught that obeying her was obeying God, even if it hurt me. And that confusion runs deep. It makes you second guess your own feelings. It trains you to ignore your intuition. And the truth is, what's traumatizing for one person may not be for another. You might be in a spiritually abusive environment and you're the only one who sees it. And when you speak up, people may get angry at you and they may tell you that you don't have enough faith or that you need to forgive or you're just being too sensitive. And then sometimes they'll tell you that you have the spirit of offense. But just because other people don't understand your pain doesn't mean it's not real. They're just because they're comfortable doesn't mean it was ever safe for you. And sometimes the worst part is gaslighting. People trying to convince you that what you saw and experienced wasn't what really happened, that it's your fault, that you're exaggerating. But let's be clear, you were violated. It wasn't right. It wasn't fair. And it's not your fault. Religious trauma can show up in many different ways. It can be struggling with guilt or shame over simple choices, feeling anxiety when trying to make decisions, avoiding anything spiritual, even if a part of you still longs for that connection. It can be feeling like you're constantly trying to get it right. Being afraid that God is always watching and ready to punish you. These are not personality flaws. These are symptoms of trauma. And I want you to know that you are not broken. You are not alone. You are having a very normal response to an abnormal experience. Healing is not about throwing everything away or becoming someone else. It's about reclaiming yourself, reclaiming your voice, your choices, your freedom. It's about learning to trust your intuition again. It's about reconnecting with your body and letting go of the fear that was never yours to carry in the first place. If anything I've said today resonated with you, I want to invite you to take my free religious trauma quick assessment. It's a gentle, non-judgmental way to help you recognize if you've been affected by religious trauma. And if you're looking for a safe space to connect with others on a similar healing journey, then I want to invite you to join my free online community. It's called the Safe Haven Circle. It's a school group that I created specifically for women healing from religious trauma. And you'll be able to find support, resources, discussion prompts, and exclusive content to help you feel seen, heard, empowered. I want you to know that you don't have to walk this path alone and that healing is possible and you deserve it. Peace, love, and light.